Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Global Institute for Food Security at the University of Saskatchewan. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are located on Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. We pay our respect to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this place and reaffirm our relationship with one another. My name is Funke Okachi. I'm the Director of Stakeholder Engagement and Communications at the Global Institute, GIFS, and I'll be your host for today's announcements. I wanted to start off by sharing a few housekeeping details. So this event is taking place here at GIFS's Header House, and we're just, there's a little bit of equipment in the way, so please mind your steps as you navigate this space. Washrooms are located outside and to your left. After the announcement, we invite you upstairs to join us for some light refreshments in our boardroom. Today, we're pleased to welcome the Honorable Eleanor Olszewski, Minister of Emergency Management and Community Resilience and Minister responsible for Prairies Economic Development Canada, known as Prairies Can. Minister Olszewski is a distinguished legal professional with a strong commitment to advocacy and fairness in the legal system. She's a civil litigator with extensive experience in commercial litigation, insurance defense, and administrative law, with a focus on professional discipline. After earning her law degree from the University of Alberta, Minister Olszewski became one of the first female partners at an Edmonton law firm, and as an advocate, she worked hard to ensure that her clients were treated fairly. Minister Olszewski holds a Juris Doctor in Law and a Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy, both from the University of Alberta. The mother of 2 grown children, Minister Olszewski lives in Edmonton with her husband, Larry. And as a proud Edmontonian, she has represented the riding of Edmonton Centre since April 25. Please join me in welcoming Minister Olszewski to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. It's really appreciated, and I'm so glad to be here this morning. This is, as I mentioned yesterday, my first official visit to Saskatchewan as Minister responsible for Prairies Can, and it's actually been an incredible experience so far. I'm so truly impressed by the innovation and the determination that Saskatchewan brings to our Canadian economy. And as Minister responsible for Prairies Can, I've really had a great opportunity to meet with prairie leaders, business leaders, community leaders, political leaders, and it's really clear to me what you in this room already know, that the Prairies has its own unique opportunities and challenges and character. And like all good Albertans, I was actually born in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, and spent the first few years of my life on the prairies. And I know from having lived here during that period of time and having visited from time to time as well, that this province has such incredible spirit. And I know that the business community has that just that get it done attitude. And as we work hard to build one Canadian economy, it's really important because we want to attract interest globally. So these prairie attributes that I speak about, they're really essential. So Saskatchewan's for a long time obviously been a leader in agriculture, and research and industrial partnerships are really shaping the conversation in the agri-food sector. And the work of the Global Institute for Food Security is an amazing example of how Saskatchewan leaders are forward-thinking, and they're innovative, and they're making pragmatic contributions to global challenges like food security. As you know, our country's really dealing with a shift in the global economic and political landscapes, and that makes us have to rethink really how we do our business. And things like food security and economic resilience for our country have become far more important than ever. Really how a nation feeds itself and how it protects its food industries and its workers really matter. So as we navigate this new reality of tariffs and protectionism, Canada remains committed to leading and innovating in agricultural production. So companies and institutions like AgWest Bio, GIFTS, the Food Centre, and Venlaw have demonstrated leadership in these areas, and they're ready to do more. The Government of Canada recognizes the need for continued innovation, and that's why today we're celebrating our investment and partnerships with these various organizations, because they'll boost capacity and create good jobs, advance our technical capabilities, encourage dialogue, and they'll really supply production in Canada. So having said all of that, I'm very happy today to announce that the Government of Canada, through Prairies Can, is investing $4.2 million in 4 Saskatchewan businesses and enterprises. So these investments will, that's wonderful. These investments will support expanded research and advanced breeding capabilities for crops and livestock, in the case of GIFTS, grow local grain bin manufacturing using Canadian steel products, increase food processing opportunities, and promote value-added agriculture. The investments announced today will create over 30 new jobs, $7 million in export revenue, and $51 million in new commercialization revenue growth. Our investment in GIFTS, in particular, I think is a great demonstration of our partnership with organizations that will innovate and create value, and GIFTS is receiving $1.6 million to develop a genomic selection-based accelerated breeding platform. And that will really advance breeding capabilities, not only with respect to livestock, as I understand it, but in the grain sector as well. And it'll bring higher yielding and higher quality grain products and livestock to market quicker. Venlaw is also an example of incredible innovation, and they're receiving funding of $2.1 million to install new automation equipment for manufacturing grain bins in Watson, Saskatchewan. And more importantly even, this investment will help Venlaw move manufacturing from the United States to Canada, and that will help us build one strong Canadian economy. With respect to the Saskatchewan Food Industry Development Food Centre, the investment is $420,000, and that will help increase co-packing capabilities and also incubation space with respect to that corporation. And finally, AgWest Bio Inc. is receiving $20,000, and that will help them deliver the Agri-Value Forum in 2025 and 26. And these are important events with respect to the agricultural and agri-food sector. So just in conclusion then, it goes without saying that agriculture is fundamental and vital to us as human beings, but it's also an essential economic activity for the prairies, and so for Canada too. And when we invest in these projects and in these companies, we're not just investing in balance sheets, but we're investing in real people, communities, and families. We need to reconsider our vision of Canada and Saskatchewan's role in the world and the value that we bring to it. And so in these changing times, we need to embrace new ideas and adaptability and innovation and resilience. And these qualities are all demonstrated by the institutions and organizations that are here today. Thank you so much for your contributions. I really look forward to hearing about your future successes, and thank you so much to our host, GIFS, and to the University of Saskatchewan. It's so great to be back on campus. I think when I was growing up, my parents thought that I would never leave university. It's been a pleasure speaking with you all today, and I appreciate the role that each of you has in building a strong Prairies region and a strong future for our country. And I'm proud, so proud to represent you as Minister for Prairies Can. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Minister Olszewski. Now I'd like to welcome the CEO for GIFS, Dr. Steven Webb, to say a few words. So just a little bit about Steve. Steve joined GIFS as CEO in 2019, where he's led the transformation of the Institute to an agri-food connector and innovation catalyst, delivering valuable programs, technologies, and services to scale up and accelerate R&D and deliver greater impact for Canada's agri-food sector and to enhance its global competitiveness. Steve?
Okay, thank you, Funke. Sorry for not realizing I had to wait for my introduction. Minister Olszewski, thank you so much for being here today and the announcement and the support, the continued support from Prairies Can for not just the Global Institute for Food Security and the organizations that have received support today, but all your organization does across Western Canada. I also want to acknowledge MLA Barrett Croft from the Government of Saskatchewan is here as well. And again, thanking the province of Saskatchewan. As you know, we were founded, the Global Institute for Food Security was founded in 2012 by the University, the Government of Saskatchewan, and at the time Potash Corporation, and we value our continued support from the university and the province of Saskatchewan. I want to also welcome members, representatives from Venlaw Manufacturing, AgWest Bio, and of course my friend Mehmet from the Saskatchewan Food and Industry Development Center. And I want to share a little bit of information about why today's investment is important for the Global Institute for Food Security, but more importantly, Canadian agriculture. We are the agriculture catalyst for driving innovation. This investment has helped us continue to build a very unique set of integrated capabilities, capacity, and most importantly, as the minister mentioned, we're talking about families. We talk about competency of our people. And this is important when you think about how do you drive innovation. What we have here at GIFS, you will find nowhere else in Canada. In fact, there's very few in the world that look like and are structured like this organization to drive innovation. Our ambition at GIFS is to be the preferred partner for ag and food innovation, and we're working with partners to deliver innovation from Western Canada to the rest of the world to advance global food security. As a trusted data aggregator, our friends from SaskTel are here as well today. GIFS turns secure, high-quality data into actionable insights, helping partners bring innovation to the market faster. That's why today's investment is significant, not just for GIFS, but to advance agriculture in Canada for Canadian competitiveness and improving Canadian productivity. We're developing the cutting-edge genomic selection-based breeding acceleration for livestock, and Sandy Russell from the Canadian Beef Improvement Network is here as well today, and breeders. I don't know if Curtis is here from the CDC, but again, working with Agriculture Canada, because Crystal is here, public breeders and private breeding organizations to really help deliver better varieties faster to the marketplace to improve the competitiveness of our farmers and our entire agri-food system. Today's $1.6 million investment that Minister Olszewski has announced supports this initiative. We are using this capability and capacity to repatriate data. We are using this investment much like the industrial manufacturers bringing manufacturing back to Canada. We are using this investment to keep Canadian research dollars and development dollars here in Canada, and we are focused on the development and improving Canada's competitiveness and overall productivity. This funding from Prairies Can builds on $2.5 million investment we received in 2022 to help establish Canada's only engineering biology platform focused on food and agriculture. Our platforms like engineering biology, high-throughput genotyping, and data analytics are already powering flagship programs at GIFTS, our FCC breeding acceleration program, and our biomanufacturing program. Together, they unlock enormous potential in the Canadian economy. RBC identified a $44 billion productivity gap and an opportunity to drive more exports. FCC identified a $30 billion gap at the farm gate over the next 10 years. Again, through partnership and collaboration and using innovative tools and technologies in new ways, we, with our partners, are looking to close that gap. Prairies Can's investment makes that possible. And just in closing, I really do want to thank Prairies Can for seeing the opportunity, not just at GIFTS, in the ecosystem here in Canada with all the people that receive funding today, but also the trust that agriculture is the solution. Agriculture and food can drive economic growth, job creation, and a new future. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. This concludes the formal portion of our program, so thank you all for attending. I'd like to invite the representatives and the speakers, representatives from the funded organizations, to please come forward to the front with a photo op with the minister. And then after we're done with the photos, we'll have Minister Olszewski and Steve move to the front for media questions. Thank you.
Yeah, we're very disappointed to hear about China's tariffs on canola, and we're just in the process of formulating our response to that, but obviously we disagree with those tariffs, and like we've done in other sectors, including steel and aluminum, the federal government will make sure that we stand up for workers and protect workers in that segment. Thank you. Not that I'm aware of at this point in time, but that's not necessarily off the table either. Thank you. I would say to those canola producers that, again, the federal government has their backs, and as I've said, as we did for other sectors in the economy, we'll stand up and protect workers in the canola sector. Thank you.
Minister, question about wildfires, actually. The president of the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs said that the changes in Canada's political leadership this year, followed by the promulgation of Parliament, wasn't a good thing when it came to planning for wildfire season because there's no consistency in having conversations at the federal level. Did this make Canada's wildfire season worse?
What's made Canada's wildfire season worse is climate change and the fact that basically across the country we have more severe drought, more severe weather conditions, and there's dryness and difficulties basically in province after province. And an additional thing that's made the wildfire season more difficult is, and you'll know this, some of the wildfires were in northern parts of provinces like Manitoba and like Saskatchewan, where it was very difficult to evacuate people from small communities. So there were some challenges with respect to this year's wildfire season. The challenges aren't going away. And I can tell you that from my perspective, our department will be working hard to make sure that we fill any gaps that exist in our present emergency management system with respect to how we respond to wildfires. Thank you.
Another question on that. There have been calls, including from Premier Moe here, for better coordination for Ottawa to respond to wildfires. That includes creating a national fire administration to coordinate assets on the municipal level
As I've just mentioned, certainly from my perspective, myself and my department, we're looking at every possible way that we can make the way that we respond to wildfires quicker, more rapid, more coordinated. One of the things that is definitely under consideration is whether or not we should have something like you called it an administration or an agency, some different body at a federal level. What we've seen across the country is that some provinces like BC and Alberta and Ontario, they've got really robust wildfire fighting capabilities. Other provinces like Manitoba and Saskatchewan and some of the maritime provinces, they just don't have those same resources. And the federal government role has been to help coordinate those resources, move them from province to province. And again, I'm looking at every opportunity and option for ways to do that better so that we don't face these same difficulties next wildfire season. I would add something too, though. There's a lot of things about the way we've responded this year that have worked really well. And so I'm really proud of the fact that we evacuated thousands of people without loss of life or limb in a number of provinces. I think that speaks to what a good job our first responders, firefighters, the Air, Canadian Armed Forces have done to help in moving people that are in danger. I also am really proud of the fact that provinces across the country worked really well together to help one another. So I had a meeting with my provincial and territorial counterparts, and they spent the first 5 minutes thanking one another for having shifted resources from, Alberta to Saskatchewan. And just there's a tremendous collaboration and cooperation between provinces when it comes to dealing with these natural disasters. Thank you. So I think the question is about what the federal government has done to help ease interprovincial trade barriers. And of course, you'll know that the Prime Minister had a number of meetings with the First Ministers to talk about exactly that. And we have federal legislation, Bill C-5, that's now law, that deals with interprovincial trade barriers as well. And then I think the provinces have collaborated very nicely. There are memoranda of understanding between a number of provinces because they've already agreed to relax a number of barriers with respect to interprovincial trade. So I think we're making great headway in that regard. And it's very important. It's an important question. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Questions for Dr. Webb?
We did a great job presenting.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for being here this morning. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Dr. Webb. Just a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.